case for my dear friends. Today I'm going to talk about the supernatural machinery in the rape of the lock. Already I talked about epic elements, but today I'm going to talk about supernatural machinery in this lovely poem by Alexander Pope. The use of supernatural machinery, is one of the salient features of an epic also. Already I told that naturally, a mock epic too must have a machinery. So various epic poets have presented the supernatural beings under various names. Yes, many poets are there. Virgil, Homer, this man, Alexander Pope, and so many others also. Even John Milton, we can say. So Milton's Paradise Lost can be taken as an example because angels are there, devils are there. Okay, Rape of the Lock. If you go through the very lovely poem of S.T. Coleridge, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Rape of the the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It is full of machinery and supernatural machinery, and the things are there. So one of the salient features of supernatural machinery, my dear friends, is detailed description, detailed explanation, detailed elucidation of the things which are there. Here, Pope gives a detailed description of the race of the supernatural beings and their relationships to human beings. Okay, in this poem, really, this man, Pope, talks about such things for us. This is done through the two mock heroic speeches of Ariel. As already I mentioned, Ariel is the goddesses God, who takes care of the virginity of Blenda here in this poem. This is done through the two mock heroic speeches of Ariel, as I mentioned. The spirits, however, in the sky, they are invisible to human beings, but always guide their destiny. Their chief function is to protect the virgins, chaste women, from being spoiled by lusty men. Then the spirits were once the women of the world. After the death of the women, their souls join the spirits. Then Pope, through Ariel, reveals that the spirits of the vain, glorious, and fashionable women only became the legitimate. It is right now also like the legitimate denizens of the air. Then the spirits of the puritanical women go to the down world and became the mischoices spirits. And Pope calls them gnomes, while he calls, as already I told you, the spirits of the light-hated flirts as selves. All spirits live in the atmosphere close to the earth and protect the virgin maidens. I don't know how far these things can be true, but just fictional things are these things. So, the power to acquire any shape. As already mentioned, they have such power. They can change into many different things. It is the spatial characteristics of spirits that they can acquire any shape and any sex which they like, fly anywhere, but are always in the service of the young virgins. Again, they have strange ways of protecting the young women. For example, if a man desires to dance, already I told you, with a woman, in order to seduce her, the spirits send another more handsome man with more alluring offer, and the former man is thus rejected. So Ariel is the head head of these spirits. He, with his foreknowledge of the future, warns Belinda in this poem to be careful about the impending disaster. But unfortunately, Belinda did not care about these things, and eventually she faces many problems. She lost her hair, and that problems come to her. So the function of this supernatural, or let me say, goddesses and gods and these things which are there, in the second canto of this poem, Ariel elaborates the comic function of the various spirits. The spirits have been assigned the various functions to perform. Some of them are highest up in the pure region of ether. Then, earth, sorry. Then these spirits control the movements of the stars, the moon, and the other planets. So these are the functions of those, what we say, spirits. So others guide a shooting star and control the rainbow. Some of them are like this. They also control the storm and destiny of human race. Some of them also maybe have such functions to what? To control the storm and also the destiny of the human race. So Ariel himself belongs to that group of spirits who have the charge of protecting the fashionable and beautiful young women. So lucky those women who are beautiful because they have gods. Uh, and nothing is going to happen to them. But unfortunately, in the modern age, problems are there for them also, and no one can protect them. Significance of the missionary, we can talk about this case also. The supernatural missionary, as I mentioned, has great significance in the poem, especially in Rape of the Lock. The addition of the missionary makes it clear that Pope was turning the first version of the poem into a mock epic poem, of which there were already precedents like Dryden's Mock Blackno, Bad Blows, Land Lawton, and Samuel Gross's The Dispensary. These are some maybe the examples for my dear friends. The Rape of the Lock is better mock epic because, as already I mentioned you, Pope reduce the society of his own time and ridicules it and make fun of those fashionable ladies which are there in the society. So it is better. That is why we say it is better. So the epic then it's contemporary works of the same kind. And it is so by virtue of the depth of handling of its machinery. So let us conclude this discussion with the words of a great critic, George Holden, who says that it here refers to Rape of the Lock. It is Pope's use of this machinery, moreover, which more than any other single feature made the poem the single success that it is. So we can say that really this is one of the outstanding poems of Alexander Pope because he has used supernatural machinery in it. And this case, I mean, supernatural machinery has made his poem, The Rape of Lock, is one of the gorgeous and impressive poems of the age. So the other case which we can talk about it here is the uh, satirical picture of contemporary life of poets. I mean, 18th century, or let it be Restoration age. Okay, so this is the case. Social life here satirized by Alexander Pope. Among the English satirists, Alexander Pope, we can say that occupies a great place, really. He is permanently a satirist. Most of his works are satirical. A few notable of them are the Downside, the Moral Essays, and the Rape of the Lock. These are some examples by Alexander Pope about satirizing the life, the society, and these things. The satire in the Rape of the Lock also is mainly social in nature. In fact, it is modeled on Belinda's Lawton, a satire on the quarrel caused by a clergy, and Lolita Rapita, a famous Italian satire on wars. So these are just some examples from the satires of the world. So the poem here is a satire not on the whole of the contemporary society, but on certain aspects of the aristocratic society of the time. It means that he satirizes the upper class people. Mostly we satirize the lower class people, but here Alexander Pope satirizes higher class people there in his own society. So the Rape of the Lock, we can say that is chiefly a satire on the aristocratic ladies of the 18th century. Pope has satirized the feminine frivolity. Pope says that all women from the rich families were frivolous, and their chief interest was in lovemaking. Here, I think by lovemaking, he means sexuality and these things. They were too fashionable and loved gaiety too much. The satire on the ladies is so clear that even Arabella Fermor felt displeased with it. However, the satire is not on her. Through Arabella Fermor or Belinda, the poet or Alexander Pope satirizes the whole of the female sex in his society. Secondly, Pope laughs at the vanities of society women. He makes fun of their late rising and other bad habits. He ridicules the fickleness and superficiality of the ladies by referring to their hearts as moving toy shops. Pope laughs at Glenda by telling us that when she wakes up, her eyes first open on a love letter, which received from someone every day, maybe. Certainly, here Pope satirizes through Belinda the loose characters of the society ladies. So Orion, the protector of Belinda, perceives an earthly lover locking at her heart. This shows that all efforts of Belinda to keep herself chaste were deceptive. She only makes the show of her chastity. The narration of the cave of spleen episode in the poem again is full of bitter satire on the loose character of ladies of that time. I mean, the time of the poet Alexander Pope. So they adopt passions and in their sexual desires become obsessed with hunger. The satire of this type becomes very pungent. In the following line of the poem, we can see the maids turned bottles, coal, allowed for corks. So from this line, we can find out such things. Another maybe feature in this poem is Pope attacks the strange habits of the ladies of his age. They think of love and love letters. They go to bed late in the night and wake up late in the afternoon. See, my dear friends, this is the case even now in our postmodern age also. So they go to bed with their pet dogs. Now, most of the people especially in Iran and in big cities like Tehran and Tabriz and Mashhad, most girls, they are carrying their dogs with themselves, pet dogs. They are awakened by the pet dogs, just their friends now and their children, most of the people's children now, they decided to do not maybe bring children into this world, but they keep dogs as their children. So this is really amazing. And it shows the fashionable habits of the especially ladies in the age of postmodernism also. So Blenda's dog licks her face in order to awaken her. Okay, the dog licks her face, whereas we say that the dog is dirty and we should wash whatever she licks. But here, Blenda allows her dog to lick her face in order to awaken her from the what we say bed. So another main target of Pope's satire in this poem is the gallants or the young rich men of the time. So these rich men of the time maybe can be one more case for satirizing it in the society. So they are the target of mockery, which is as sharp as the satire on the ladies. So the main thing that the poet satirizes is the amorous adventures of the fashionable young men of the age also. Chivalry was dead then, and they tried to win their object by fair or foul means. The Baron's rude act of cutting the lock of Blenda bears evidence of the fact. The men were folks with no brains. Their chief interest was in love making. They drank and gambled. They ogled at ladies from the side boxes in theaters. All these facts are touched in the Rape of the Lock, and beautifully and masterfully this man, Alexander Pope, shows us these things in this poem. I mean, the rape of the lock, my dear friends. Okay, thank you very much. That's enough. So, thanks, my dear friend.